Today we're going to upcycle this thrifted jacket into a puffy tote bag. We're going to add extra fluff to make it super Ninja Turtle puffy. You only need 2 extra materials for this project. That is the stuffing, which you can harvest from some stuffed toys, and some inch-wide binding tape. We will use that to cover up the seams on the inside. So here I've already washed the jacket, and now we will decide which part we can save and reuse. The outside fabric is a bit worn out. We will use the jacket's lining, the inside, as the outside fabric. This jacket also has an elastic drawstring hem, which is in a pretty good condition, so I'm going to reuse that. The plan is to use the hem of the jacket as the bag's opening. We can create a full panel from the jacket's back, and from the front we will join these 2 panels, left and right, to match the size of the full panel at the back. Then you'll have 1 front piece and 1 back piece. The handles will come from the sleeves. Okay, now we're going to cut out the full panel from the jacket's back. Before you make the cut, you should sew 2 zigzag lines to surround your cutting line. We have to leave one side open to fill in the fluff, so pin that part up. I figured this out after I cut up the bag. The jacket is filled with down feathers, and after you make a cut, all the feathers will start spewing out of the jacket, and it was complete chaos, so messy. So this is what the stitches should look like. And when you make the cut, both sides will be sealed by the zigzag line, and that will minimize the mess. The next step is to sew lines across the bag to create channels for the stuffings. We will pack in the stuffings, and we're gonna do it row by row. So pin them down after you've packed them in and bring it to the sewing machine. So if you want uniform puffs, mark out all the squares before you pack them in. And when sewing down these fluff, you just press down and spread the fluff away from the sewing feet to help it go through. I mean, it's thick, but it's just air inside, so a little difficult to work with, but not impossible. The seam allowances around the bag is about 1 inch. So the sides and the bottom, you have to leave 1 inch. The bag's opening is the jacket's hem, so it is already finished. You don't have to do anything to it. We're gonna cut 2 panels from the front of the jacket. So use that same method that I told you about, zigzagging to enclose the cutting line and leave one side open. So over here, I've packed in the fluff separately before I join them, but I think it will be easier if you join them at the center first and then you pack in the fluff. So one more tip to make the bag look good is that when you sew the rows and columns, you match it to the other side that you've already sewn so that all the lines are uniform, so you don't have like strange bumps on the side. Now we will join the front piece and the back piece together, so try to match the horizontal lines. And after this is done, you can trim off any excess. You can trim off the seams to make them look tidy, and we will wrap it with our binding tape. And for this step, I think it is better to just hand sew the binding tape onto the bag. It's much easier and it'll look neat. And on the bag's opening, we will fold the binding tape to cover it like so. So this part is the straps, which we will cut out the largest rectangle possible on the sleeves, and from that rectangle we'll divide it in half. After that we flip it, and we will add this elastic to make a little like a keychain holder. Just make a knot, and we will first sew the elastic onto the handle, and make sure that the bump is a bit above the sewing line that you will use to attach the handle to the bag. Okay, and that's about it. You have a nice bag from a thrifted jacket. I think this one cost me just like 69 baht or something like that from the secondhand store. So that's about like $2-ish. And you get to reuse some old materials. So I hope you like this DIY, and see you next time.